Greetings, Redheads. Thank you for joining me in another edition of your favorite show, the one, the only Reds View. Of course, I'm your gracious host, Jay Red. All right, before I begin this video, do me a favor. Make sure that you look down here, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/RedsView. All right, man. So let me go ahead and get into this, man. Let me just say it like this. Bone Thugs and Harmony changed R&B. Bone Thugs and Harmony changed R&B, and I have proof. Now, I could play their music, but of course, I don't want to get a copyright strike. But if you know me and you follow this channel, you see I got my Bone Thug shirt on, right? I got plenty of Bone merch. I'm one of the biggest Bone fans that you know. Crazy Bone has appeared on here. That episode is out. Might even put it in the description. Um, I've worked with Bone Thugs and Harmony, Lazy Bone. We did a track called Hustle Season. So I have nothing but admiration, love for Bone. They're the reason I do what I do now. They're one of the reasons you got Reds View. But one thing about me is I always express my love for those men, bro. Like that group is fanatic. I mean, I'm a fanatic for that group. They're fantastic, phenomenal legends, and they don't not only change R&B, but they change the music genre. I mean, the music period, the music business. But I have proof. And the reason I say that I have proof, and that's in the title of this video, is because Bryan Michael Cox, the big time R&B producer, I think he won a lot of Grammys, worked with Usher, Mariah Carey, too many to name, right? But Bryan Michael Cox appeared on the R&B Money Podcast. And for those who are not familiar with the R&B Money Podcast, that's him and Tank's podcast, Jay Valentine and Tank's podcast, right? So they appeared. I'm sorry, Bryan Michael Cox. He appeared on there, and let me share my screen with you. Hold on, just a second. And they talked about Bone's influence. So let me go ahead and play this for you. Look at this.
Whose idea was it to go Bone Thugs and Harmony?
Fair use.
That was just, can I keep it real?
Change the ways like hanging with
Bone.
bone.
We just are huge fans of Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm gonna keep it real. You understand? We're coming off from Mariah. We did a song with Mariah, right? This is before the big ones,
Right.
like before, like Shake It Off and all
Yeah.
that. We had done Charm Bracelet. We had done a record before, a song on Rainbow, and Mariah is a full on, like she's a Bone Thugs and Harmony fanatic. Like that's how she's full on.
Everybody should know that Mariah Carey is a big Bone fan. But this is Bryan Michael Cox. He appeared on the R&B Money Podcast. Let me keep playing.
Like full on, like no doubt, right? So for us, it's just an extension of that relationship.
You
know what I mean?
It was in you.
That
the
extension of that relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we, I mean, Bone Thugs by far is one of my favorite rap groups and one of my favorite.
It has to be
moments. Period. You know what I mean? And melodically, I just always felt like, and Jermaine too, like we just always felt like nobody ever explored it properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, who can explore it and make it global?
But I did it.
Yeah.
Boom. So there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it right there. Right there, live and in the flesh. Well, I ain't gonna say live, but it's right there. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is because for the longest, right, being a hardcore Bone fan like I am, I always point out that those dudes changed the game. And with that comes a lot of hate. Sometimes it comes a lot of scrutiny. It comes a lot of, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a Bone fan. You don't know. But there was a time back when I was, this was like 04, 05, 06, back when I was in high school. I used to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony pretty much every day. Still do to a certain degree, right? But I used to listen to them, and then I would listen to the radio. And on the radio, I would hear so many different R&B artists adopting their style. Now, Bone wasn't as hot or relevant as a lot of people like to say during those years. But man, Emancipation of Mimi, Mariah Carey. You listen to We Belong Together. I can't sleep at night while y'all on my eyes. Bobby Womack's on the radio singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, damn, she got Bone Style on there. Usher's Confessions. That whole album, pretty much. Usher sounded like a Bone member. You had R. Kelly, I'm a flirt. Soon as you wink in, I forgot the words to it, but T-Pain, R. Kelly. So many artists to name, but Bryan Michael Cox and Jermaine Dupri were behind a lot of those Usher and Mariah Carey records in the mid 2000s. So I used to tell my homeboys, my friends, and everybody, like, man, that's Bone style right there. That's their sound. And they used to be like, man, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. Fast forward 20 plus years later, or 20 years later. Now, Usher's coming out and saying something about it. And now Bryan Michael Cox has came out publicly and said that. So Bone style changed the world. It changed the game, the R&B game for sure. Now you have rap and R&B just mixed together. They even have a category called the melodic rap category, I think, at the Grammys. So I play that to show you that these R&B singers and songwriters were all big fans of Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I could tell you, the Crossroads, like Bone already was making rounds and stuff, but the Crossroads, with that being number one for like 8 weeks, that changed the game. And then after that, they were matching Mariah Carey. Like, I think they went past her. Like, and Mariah Carey was like, who are these dudes? You know, it was like back in 95, 96 rather. Like, who are these dudes that are compete with me on the charts? They a rap group. Instead of hating on them, Mariah Carey reached out to them and they made Breakdown. And I feel like Breakdown is probably one of the R&B songs that changed the game forever, because that's when those styles came together. Mariah Carey adopted that. Now, keep in mind, everybody was trying to be like Bone back in the 90s. You had groups like Do or Die. Different people were comparing. There was a lot of people using the Bone flow. But that Mariah Carey stamp, because Mariah Carey was one of the biggest stars on the planet during that time, but that Mariah Carey stamp with Breakdown changed the R&B game forever, because I think that's when the R&B singers and the R&B songwriters saw, man, so Mariah did it, we could do it too. And then a few years later, you got Usher, even 8701. That was before Confessions. And you just heard it right there. Tank pointed it out. When you're feeling this body, you feel somebody who make you change your ways by hanging with your crew. That sounds like Busy's verse on The Crossroads. Dead souls, nigga, the Wiley, Easy C's Uncle Charlie. You know what I'm saying? So I am making this video to show you that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Your favorite R&B songs are inspired by Bone Thugs and Harmony. If you liked anything from Confessions, if you liked anything from Emancipation of Mimi, if you liked anything from 8701, a lot of those were inspired by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Mariah and Usher sounded like Bone members during that time. So for everybody who got something to say about these dudes and what they didn't contribute or whatever like that, the proof is in the pudding. We're not even talking about rap. We're talking about the R&B world. Now you can't turn on the radio right now without hearing Bones flow, hip hop or R&B. And if we want to go further, rock, country, I can name you some songs. You know what I'm saying? Do your research, but you should know it. And see, it's more evident now, but it's not, you know what? It's not even more evident, because the style is just something that we're used to. We're used to it by now. You know, back if you were born during my time, any time in the 80s, before the 80s, and then maybe like the early 90s, you got to grow up on Bone Thugs and Harmony. Nowadays, if you were born in like the year 2000 on up, you won't even know what you're listening to at this point, that this is all Bone inspired. You know, there'll be old heads according to you, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Generation Z will look at that like, oh, what is this? What am I listening to? Put some respect on these dudes' name. Crazy, Lazy, Busy, Wish, Flesh. And on this channel, because I see Bone doesn't get a lot of love, but I show Bone love on this channel. I don't give a damn who got something to say about it. I'm a big Bone fan, and I got to point this out. But shout out to the R&B Money Podcast, man. Shout out to Tank for putting it out there like that, asking Bryan Michael Cox directly. And Bryan Michael Cox is like, yeah, I'm a big Bone fan. Like, that's probably my favorite rap group of all time. Just like it's a lot of people's. But you know, you don't hear their name brought up as much. You hear it now more so than ever, but man, they usually left out of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear Wu-Tang, you'll hear NWA, you'll hear Run DMC, you'll hear a lot of different groups, but those groups changed up the game. But musically, reaching outside of hip hop, you gotta give it to Bone Thugs. I put Bone Thugs above any rap group, any rap duo, whatever. Shout out to everybody. It's a solid reason that these dudes are my favorite rappers for sure. And also let me do a shameless plug real quick because I got into it. I forgot to do my shameless plug. Hold on for a second. If you're watching this right now, man, I gotta share this with you. Give me just a second. Hold on. Hold on. So as some of you may not know right now, I am a hip hop recording artist. My name is Jay Red, and I got to shout out my EP. If you're watching this right now, it is going to be available midnight tonight, November 3rd. Make sure that you check out my EP Rewind, 5 dope tracks. You're going to love them. We're sampling the 90s records. It's retro. You see it right there. But Jay Red Rewind, check it out, man. Right now, like I said, the link will be in the description and it will be available at midnight. So some of you may see this right now before midnight. Some of you may see it afterwards, but the hyperlink is right there. The hyperlink is right there for you to check out and leave me feedback. Share this for me. All right. But yeah, that's my shameless plug, my EP Rewind on all streaming platforms, J Red Rewind. All right. Back to Bone though. But it's important that people like Bryan Michael Cox and everybody else gives Bone Thugs and Harmony their flowers because they often get overlooked. And as fans, as hardcore fans, I know I get tired of it. I get tired of it when I see you got these groups that get named like the top 50 rap groups of all time, and Bone is all the way at 20. And I'm like, these dudes single-handedly changed the damn game. Not just the rap game, but the R&B game, the rock game, everybody. That cadence and that sound that they had was such ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. People still using that now. You got to control everybody. Everybody has used a part of Bone style to be where they at now. From 50 Cent, Drake, Kanye, T-Pain. The list just goes on and on. So it's only right that you give them proper respect. But especially during that time on the radio, 04, 05, 06, man, Bones flow was everywhere in the R&B world. Even Ludacris's verse on that old song with Sierra. Listen to go listen to Ludacris's song with Sierra. Listen to that verse. What he said, Dirty Side, we ballin', dog, and never think about falling, dog. Get a harmonizing, surprising. Like, if that ain't busy, that's Busy Bone, isn't it? Isn't that Busy Bone? So I used to listen to that stuff back then, and I just used to be like, damn, like what the hell? You wish that you could patent the flow. That's what Busy said in one of his rhymes. That he wish he should have patented his whole damn flow. Because that's what they did, man. And Bone is humble, they're humble. I've met them several occasions, very humble dudes. They always say that people copy them and stuff like that, but at that time, and especially now, but back during that time, oh man, like everybody was using it. So it's only right. I'm gonna give them their flowers. I gotta give Bone Thugs their flowers. And those songs that they made back then, the groundbreaking East 1999 Eternal, the Crossroads, that changed the game forever. So it's only right that we shout out Bone Thugs. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/ResView. Follow me everywhere at JAYR3D. And do not forget to listen to Rewind. Rewind is available. It should be available by the time you see this. The link is in the description. And leave me a comment if you like it. If you dislike it, it's all good as long as we get there. But anyway, y'all, this is J Red ResView, and I'm signing out. Bone for life.